guys, Coach Julia Gurman here. Today I'm going to review the proper mechanics for performing a hip hinge. I'm going to do so by taking you through a couple different exercises so you can practice feeling and creating your hip hinge. So come to standing. Start with your feet hip width apart, knees slightly bent, long spine, core brace on. And just notice real quick, if when you sit up tall, did you lock your knees? And if you did, soften them. Take the palms of your hands and put them on your hip creases. I'm turning to the side so you can see the actual hip hinge action. From here, press the heels of your palms into your hip creases. And notice what that does. It hinged you forward. It sends your hips back, your tailbone back, sends your trunk and head forward. Come back up to standing. Double check that your knees are soft, core brace is on. Press into your hip creases. Now bring your attention to your heels and notice how your weight shift back in your heels a little bit. Knees are still slightly bent or maybe a little more bent. You want to feel a sensation in your hamstrings and muscle belly. Come back up to standing. One more time like this. Press into your hip creases. And bring your attention to your spine. You want a long spine. From your tailbone through the top of your crown. So if you find you're rounded down like this, try first pressing your hands more into your hips to send them back. And as you do so, lengthen through your spine, lift your chest, your heart center. Make sure you keep your knees bent too, especially if you have low back problems or tightness. Soften your knees. And if you have really tight and or short hamstrings, soften your knees a little bit more. Come back up to standing. Now, one of my new favorite ways to have clients practice their hip hinge and to help them really maintain a long spine or create or feel a long spine is to use a pole or a stick. So I have a couple different tools here. I use mostly these in the studio. But grab a broomstick, grab your mop, anything light. And you want it at least the length of your spine. Ideally, top of your head to your tailbone. One hand is up top at the base of your neck. Your other hand is at your low back, the small of your back. And you want to stand tall, head against the pole if you can. Your middle back against the pole, or the pole against your middle back if you can. Hand against your low back. And then the bottom of the pole, or broom or mop, at your tailbone. So you have points of contact, and you have feedback that when you bend over, when you hinge, if you lose these points of contact, then you can double check, am I rounding? So from here, just do the same action. Send your hips out and back. Core brace is on the whole time. Come to standing, full extension, squeeze your glutes, soft knees, sit your hips out and back. You send your heels a little bit. Come back to standing, squeeze your glutes. Now, a couple of cues I give my clients to help them feel and create this movement. One, I tell them, imagine I'm behind them with my hands on their hip creases. And I'm gently pulling them back into their hips, from their hips, just like I had you create for yourself with the press. And the second cue or functional image is to imagine they have suspenders running from the bottom of their rib cage all the way wrapped around their hips, and they're tightening the suspenders. So it's the same action. It draws you back into your hips. It hinges you forward. So play with these two movements. Play with those cues and those functional images and see what you feel. But please practice this because hinging from your hips is so, so important to be able to bend over, to pick things up and not hurt your back, to squat down, even to squat down to sit and then come back up to standing. And for those of you who love to garden and you like to bend over and weed, you really want to make sure that you have access to your hip hinge so you don't hurt your back. Please leave any questions or comments you have below, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.